TV1. TV for life.
A very good evening. It's the 1st of July 2023. Welcome to the primetime news here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Senita Senanayaka. Before we take a look at the stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines. The proposal to provide necessary permission to the Finance Minister to accelerate economic recovery and to optimize domestic debt tabled in Parliament.
මුදල් පිළිබඳ පරම බලය පාර්ලිමේන්තුවටයි මේ සභාවටයි කියමින් අපි කරන්නේ මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සමාජිකයෙකුට නොවන්නා වූ පුද්ගලයෙකුට මුදල් සම්බන්ධයෙන් තීන්දුව తీරන ගැනීමට යෝජනා සම්මත කරන්නද මේ නිවාඩු දවසක පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කැඳෙවි.
සමහර ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේ මැති අමතුරුවලා කිව්වා ඔබතුමාලා කතා කරපුව හොඳයි නැත්නම් අර නරියට කුකුල් කොටුව බාර දුන්නා වගේ අපිට වෙන්නේ කියලා.
The EPF and the ETF are not aware of the debt optimization decisions, Vijita Herath reveals in Parliament.
මුදල් කාර්ක සභාවට ඊ කැඳවුවම EPF අරමුදල ප්‍රධානියත් ETF අරමුදල ප්‍රධානියත් ඒ දෙන්නම එක හඬින් කිව්වා අපිට තාම මේ යෝජනාව නිල වශයෙන් ලැබිලවත් නැහැ කියලා. එක මහත් එක්කව මම මේක දැනගත්ත Facebook එකකින් කියලා.
The President requests the assistance of everyone to support the debt optimization process. An earthquake from the Indian Ocean. Quake reaches Colombo. On to your top story this evening. The Parliament debate on the proposal to provide all necessary approvals to the Minister of Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policy, Ranil Wickremesinghe, for the domestic debt optimization process concluded in Parliament on Saturday. The proposal was passed a short while ago. The number of votes received in favour of the proposal was 122. The proposal had 62 votes against it. 40 MPs of the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna, including Mahinda Rajapaksa and Namal Rajapaksa, were not present in the chamber to cast their vote.
යෝජනා පිළිබඳ දැනුම් දීම නියමිත කටයුතු යෝජනා අංක 1 විවාදය ආරම්භ කරනවා.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි යෝජනාව ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා.
What is this proposal number 1? It is the first proposal included in today's Parliament agenda. As per the Cabinet decision made on the 28th of June 2023, the proposal is aimed to securing the domestic debt sustainability, to ensure the rapid transition to economic recovery that prioritises sustainable economic growth, which will benefit the people of Sri Lanka and future generations. This proposal requests the Parliament to give all necessary permission to the Ministry of Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policy for the optimization of domestic debt in the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. The proposal was tabled by the Leader of the House. However, the Chairman of the Committee on Public Finance, Dr. Harsha De Silva, objected, citing that the amendment adopted by the committee was not included in it. An amendment was added to the proposal by a majority decision by the Committee on Public Finance, which convened yesterday.
There is a contradiction between the proposal that was presented to my committee and this proposal. The words are not exact. There is something mentioned within brackets. You cannot mention them within brackets. You cannot present this by saying this amendment will be done during the State Finance Minister's speech. First make the amendment. This was not the proposal that was passed at the Committee on Public Finance. A different proposal was passed by split decision. That was the proposal which was brought forward with the approval of everyone. What must be debated is the approved proposal. We cannot discuss the amended proposal which is not included in the agenda today. We cannot do that. How can we do that? Under which standing order can that happen? the government has got it wrong. They do not know the proposal and the amended proposal. They seem to have no clue about the approved proposal as well. They are not even announcing the names of those who opposed it and those who favoured it at the Committee on Public Finance. Those who favoured it are asking the government not to publish their names because they are afraid they will not be able to face the people. As discussed on the 30th at the Committee on Public Finance, I propose these amendments. I present the original proposal as proposed in the written submission on Sri Lanka's domestic debt restructuring presented to the Cabinet on the 28th of June 2023 on implementing the comprehensive domestic debt restructuring methods, which was prepared by the Finance Ministry under the instructions of the Central Bank and was approved by the Cabinet.
Even though the amendment was added to the proposal, several MPs pointed out the severity of today's debate.
The proposal will end by Parliament approving the transfer of permission of domestic debt restructuring to the Finance Minister. Mentioning the Finance Minister seems honourable. Is Ranil Wickremesinghe even a member of Parliament? Did you convene Parliament on a weekend to transfer the powers of this House to handle finance to a person who is not even a member of Parliament? Who is getting these powers? Who was the leader of the government of the bond scam? Who was the Prime Minister in 2003 when the VAT scam took place? In 2015, these MPs in the government, none of these government MPs in the front row know about this. That is why measures to implement financial restraint with the Finance Minister, including the decision to determine the interest rates. This is very serious. We have an issue regarding giving these rights to the Finance Minister, hence the President. We do not agree with that. That right belongs to the government. They were to present the debt restructuring plan to Parliament, how they fluctuate the interest rates. All of these are in a dark, vague manner. The Minister has been given the permission to decide all of this. When this proposal was given to us, several fractions, including the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance, pointed out that the proposal given at the Committee on Public Finance has to be included in this. Then it was inserted. However, it says that the Finance Minister's power is above all those. It is said that all the necessary permissions are given to the Finance Minister. If it means that permission is given to the Finance Minister and necessary measures could be taken by him, then what is the point of this amendment?
මේක ගරු මූලාසනාරූඪ මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි නංගි පෙන්නලා අක්ක දෙනවා වගේ වැඩක්.
They were talking about debt optimization. However, the election is being called on another matter. This is like a signed check given to the Finance Minister without a price, date and receiver's name.
වටිනාකමක් සඳහන් කරන්නේ නැති චෙක් පතක් අත්සන් කරලා මුදල් ඇමතුමාට බාර දෙනවා වගේ වැඩක්.
During today's debate in Parliament, serious criticisms were levelled against the decision taken regarding the Employee Pensions Fund during the debt optimization process. According to the proposed local debt optimization process, the government securities purchased by the EPF, ETF and more will be reissued as long-term bonds, and it has been proposed to pay interest at 12% until 2025 and 9% after 2025. We see this proposal as the most successful proposal. During the recent past, the EPF has been given 9% to 10% as interests. According to this program, 12% interests until 2025 and 9% interests 3 years after 2025. And moving forward, their income levels will be decided based on the interest rates decided by the market. There was another issue that was raised. When it comes to 9%, is it being reduced after taxes? This is the amount the government is going to pay the EPF member.
Our main objection to this restructuring plan is the impact that it will have on members of the EPF and ETF. We have repeatedly asked the central bank to share with us the net present value lost to the EPF, and they have not given to us. And I'm saying with responsibility, the net present value as at today, if you take the net present value today, the loss to EPF holders will be 47%. That is the net present value lost to the EPF. You are stealing from the EPF 12.1 trillion for this debt restructure. When you have let go all the private bond holders who lent to the government after we declared bankruptcy. In August and September last year, they bought bonds at very high yield, 20%, 22%, 25%. You're not touching any of those. You're not touching any of those. That amounts to 15% of your local debt. You're not touching it because those are your friends. Those are the ones who do bond scams for you. They are the ones who fund you election campaigns. That is why you've let them off the hook. And whom are you taxing? The EPF holders will have half their value. When all those women, tea pluckers, who stand to lose, who have lost so much, who stand to lose so much more, they are the backbone of the country's economy. And they are the ones you have chosen to trample under your feet yet again because it is so easy to do that.
In this same presentation, which the committee insisted that it should be included in the resolution, it very clearly has given a couple of options to the EPF and also indicated what the repercussions are going to be. I think on the matter what you are speaking, I don't know whether you want inflation to be at 70%, because if inflation is going to be at 70%, the interest rates also will be at a higher rate.
Who makes this decision on behalf of the EPF? Don't call it voluntary. Be straightforward and say we are making the decision on your behalf. Don't say they are making it voluntary, because the monetary board is making the decision, and it is a monetary board who has accepted this debt restructuring plan. You are holding a gun to their head and you are saying you do this or 30%. The people who have no voice, you take it from them and you make the decision, and you who even have the gall to call it voluntary. They are not consulted at all.
By the
15th of July, in terms of disregarding excise duties, Mendis is at the top. They have not paid 341 crores. Who is the Mendis company? Perpetual Treasuries, the main culprit behind the bond scam. They are the main culprits of the bond scam, which was involved with Ranil Wickremesinghe. He has been released today. He is yet to pay the money. That is the deal. Another one is the Wyoming Distilleries, which has not paid 2.5 million. Global Blenders has not paid 110 crores. During the recent past, Mendis was closed down under a court order. But as soon as Ranil Wickremesinghe was appointed the finance minister, he went into an agreement with that company and approval was given for production. This is the deal. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says the debt optimization process is vital for the process of creating a competitive economy and to shed the country's bankruptcy status. The president requested the assistance of everyone to support the debt optimization process.
The annual general meeting of the Sri Lanka Institute of Directors was held in Colombo under the auspices of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed hope that Sri Lanka will be able to shed its bankruptcy status by September and urged everyone to work collectively to back the government's efforts.
Last November we presented a climate prosperity plan. Now that means more resources are needed, partly by the government, partly from other investments, private investments. Then we have to go along with this program. What will happen if we go off this? You'll immediately lose the $700 million that the World Bank is due to give us. The second review will be a failure. And on this, I also had the opportunity of being in Paris when President Macron summoned the Lakers Summit, which really looks at one of the important issues, the debt and climate resilience. As countries get into debt, resources for climate resilience becomes less. How do you have climate resilience and also be able to restructure the debt? And where does the money come? I mean, this is such a large amount. I don't know from where we are going to find the money, but nevertheless we have to find it. So this discussion is on, and Sri Lanka we are invited because we've been successful so far. And we made a contribution, and I think Sri Lanka in future will start playing a more active role in this area of debt and climate resilience. I am confident Sri Lanka can make it with what we have got. We have a growth agenda. We put it up for discussion with you all. We have to first get through the debt restructuring. We spoke with the cabinet, we met the bankers, the chambers of commerce, the representatives, and the afternoon we met the trade unions. We've all suffered. We have to have a growth agenda. We have to grow big. But in growing big, there must be equity. A few people can't get rich and others be low income or just make it the middle income. So when we finish the debt restructuring, I will ask the chambers, the professions, the trade unions, the farmers and others to discuss what our social contract is going to be. If all of us contribute, then all of us must have a share of it. I make one request from you. Go out and tell everyone what the debt restructuring is. It's nothing to be frightened, and don't go to change it. We are in a very delicate situation and we should go ahead. I am confident that not only can Sri Lanka get out of the present crisis, but we can look ahead for a far more competitive economy. And we will be, in the next month, making an application to join the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, that puts us into the whole Southeast East Asian markets. We talked to India about upgrading our trade agreements with them, free trade agreements. And later on, we'll talk to EU about how we are going to deepen our trade agreements with them. So we have to become a competitive economy. And this is.
Meanwhile, the Samurdhi Development Officers Union explained the fate of the Samurdhi movement and the people suffering from poverty and who benefited from it due to the Aswasuma project.
Today is the day they said that the people who are benefiting from Samurdhi will be credited to their accounts. So far, the government has not only been able to lend money to the poor, but has also been unable to prepare the documentation properly. All these projects have been done for political purposes and not really to alleviate poverty in the country. To start projects, to make plans and to survey these, our country has spent billions of public money. A program called Gamperaliya was brought to help the needy. Gamperaliya, however, overthrew the government and remained idle. The people without houses has not been chosen, and the people in two-story houses has become eligible because pilot projects were not done for these. Experts were not consulted. Professional associations and social activists and people with alternative options were not taken into account. It is the arrogance that has made this project ineffective. It is so weak that data is collected through an app and handed over to the people today to correct it.
A group of Samurdhi beneficiaries who were not included in the Aswasuma Welfare Benefit Program engaged in a protest in Kelwattagol today. They pointed out that the names of those who should not be included are added and the names of many people suffering from poverty are not included.
Meanwhile, the United National Party Kalaweva Balamandala meeting was held yesterday. Director General Saman Ratnapriya of Trade Unions, the President, expressed his opinion regarding the Aswasuma program.
This act was passed in 2002. Others could not implement it. First listen, then if you have questions, ask them. We will answer them. A decision was taken that the census should be renewed in that manner. According to that decision, this number was said to be chosen correctly. Now in the first round of the document, an amount of 1.2 million was seen. It has shortcomings and we have seen the tears, sadness and the pain of some mothers and fathers. It is not a problem. No one will be allowed to suffer injustice through the subsidy system.
During a press conference today, the All Ceylon Samudhi and Agricultural Development Officers Association stated that the system to obtain information regarding the Aswasama program was not in a practical condition.
According to the information in the phone app surveys approved by the Parliament, people suffering from poverty cannot be identified. You can use that app to tell the poor that they are not poor. The information in that app is impractical for the people who are suffering from poverty. We asked them to change that and change the facts of that bill, and we said that we will conduct a survey. However, since they declined, all the Gram Nildari officers withdrew from the survey process. In more local news, on the occasion of the World Social Media Network Day, a ceremony was organized by the Tissa Maharahamad Debaravawa School yesterday.
The event was presided over by businessman Dhammika Pereira. The launch of the official website of the Debaravawa National School and installations of members for the media team was also held during the event.
In 2010, I wanted to teach children, so I went to former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and I said that this will not work. There are no computers in schools and something needs to be done about this. I have a plan. I am building 1,000 computer labs. After 6 months, I went and said again that this is not done yet. Then I thought that I am going to build the first lab. I went to the Kadavala Mahavidyalaya Ratmalana and built the first computer lab for the government. When I asked for a name, Mahindodaya lab came up. I built that lab called Mahindodaya as if it was done by the government after making 1,000 labs with 40 computers each. Today there are 40,000 computers. I always think what I can do for the country.
News first with the people.
Taking a look at some more local news, the fuel prices were revised with effect from midnight yesterday. According to the price revisions, 1 litre of octane 92 petrol was increased by 10 rupees, bringing the new price to 328 rupees. The price of 1 litre of 95 octane petrol was decreased by 20 rupees. The new price of a 1 litre of octane 95 petrol will be 365 rupees. Meanwhile, the price of a 1 litre of Lanka super diesel was increased by 6 rupees, bringing the new price to 346 rupees. The price of a 1 litre of auto diesel was reduced by 2 rupees. Accordingly, the new price is 308 rupees. The price of a 1 litre of kerosene was reduced by 9 rupees, bringing the revised price to 236 rupees. The Lanka IOC group have also revised their prices in line with the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation prices. Taking a look at a headline-making story, Geological Survey and Mines Bureau says that the impact of an earthquake in the South Indian Ocean was felt in several areas, including Colombo.
Geological Survey and Mines Bureau said that at 12:59 this afternoon, the earthquake occurred in the Indian Ocean, 1,000 kilometers southeast of Hambantota. The earthquake recorded was a 5.8 magnitude. According to Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, several areas including Colombo, Vellavata, Gaul, Papiliana, Akuressa, Nelua and Bathuramula felt the tremors. This shock was also felt in the village of Ilupella. The tremor was caught on CCTV footage.
හරියටම 1 විනාඩි 2යි එක සැරේටම හෙලවෙන්න පටන් ගත්තා.
මම ඇඳේ හිටියේ පාඩම් කර කර එකපාරට ඇඳ හෙලවෙනා වගේ දැනුණා.
පුටුවේ වාඩි වෙලා ඉන්නකොට පුටුව නිකන් මෙහෙම හෙල්ලිලා ගියා. ඊට පස්සට ගියා වගේ දැනුණා.
Those who were in the 11th floor in the Kolonava Sanhida Sevana housing complex explained their experience like this.
මම මේ උයෝ ඉන්න ගමන් මුළු ඒ කියන්නේ ලිපත් එක්කම මාවත් එක්කම හෙල්ලුණා. හැරිලා බලනකොට එහෙම්මම පිඟන් රාකෙත් එක්ක හෙල්ලුණා. ඒ ගැසිල්ලට තමයි බය වෙලා පල්ලෙහාට ගියේ.
මේ මැච් එක බලන් ඉන්නකොට පාට වයිබ්‍රේට් එකක් වගේ ආවා. එල්ලෙන මේක. ඇඟ නිකන් ඉරියට් වෙන ගතියක් ආවා.
මම නිදාගෙන හිටියේ ඒ වෙලාවේ මේ හොඳටම මෙහෙම පැද්දෙනවා වගේ වුණා.
State Finance Minister Shehan Singha commented on investment attraction and revenue enhancement on Twitter Spaces on Saturday on the sidelines of the debate on domestic debt optimization.
What's the plan to attract investors given the whole TDO and pending external restructuring program?
Investments are very important to Sri Lanka. Once the review is completed, that will eventually build up confidence among the investors. And by September, we are hopeful that we could complete the bilateral debt restructuring and come into MOUs that will further enhance confidence of the investors. And once we are officially out of bankruptcy, the rating agencies will rate Sri Lanka positively. So those factors will definitely matter for us to increase confidence of and enhance confidence of the investors.
How do you plan to address the revenue side? Will tax rates be hiked further, or what tangible methods will be taken to widen the net?
As you know, already we have increased the tax rates as well as the records. And in terms of income taxes and corporate taxes, our revenue has shown a significant growth. But unfortunately, our excise revenue has not shown a growth, as well as revenue from the customs department. That is mainly because we have import restrictions still placed. We will share the information with the IMF, a time-bound plan on how Sri Lanka would relax restrictions on imports.
In more local news, 4 associates of organised crime gang member Rotumba Rasika have been arrested during raids carried out in Mulatiana. The Police Special Task Force said that an AK-47 firearm and a magazine used for crimes were found in the possession of the suspects, as well as an ultra-modern pistol and a magazine made in America. The 36, 43, 44 and 51-year-old suspects are residents of Mulatiana and Makadura. Rotumba Rasika was sentenced to life imprisonment and is currently being held at the Busa High Security Prison. Meanwhile, an associate of Saima, who is a large-scale drug dealer, has also been arrested. 15 milligrams of the narcotic substance ice was found in the possession of the suspect. 211,000 rupees earned from smuggling have also been taken into custody by the Police Special Task Force. The 26th Annual General Meeting of the MBA Alumni Association of the University of Colombo was held in Colombo recently. Kulendran Sivaram was elected the 27th President of the MBA Alumni Association.
The 26th Annual General Meeting of the MBA Alumni Association was held in Colombo recently, with Professor Howard Nicholas participating as the chief guest. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratna, was the guest of honour. Kulendran Sivaram was elected as the 27th President of the MBA Alumni Association.
The Divisavya Social Service Program, which gives strength to our own people, is being carried out today as well. Today's program is being held centering the Mathura district.
The LOLC Divisavya program gives school books and stationery equipment to the most impoverished students in the country, ensuring a brighter future for them. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC group and the Ministry of Education. Exercise books and stationery items were distributed among students of the Talpavila Gamanu Primary School and the Na Otunna South Primary School and many other schools belonging to the Mathura Education Zone. Students of several other schools in the area were also gifted books and stationery items at the Akurasa Zonal Education Office today. The LOLC Divisavya program will continue to ensure a better future for all school children in Sri Lanka.
Government launched a plethora of projects across the country based on the data obtained over the course of 10 years on the issues faced by our fellow Sri Lankans. A majority of these projects are related to the access to clean drinking water. The main reason for this is that a majority of Sri Lankans have been deprived of access to clean drinking water. Today, the project, vested with the people of Gothamipura in Katharagama, was further expanded thanks to the efforts made by the Gam Madda Savya movement. Gothamipura is located in the Katharagama Divisional Secretariat in the Hambantota district and is home to around 950 families. For decades, these people faced a plethora of issues due to the lack of access to clean drinking water. At times, the able-bodied villagers were forced to travel for miles to collect water for the families. Now, this project was further expanded with the support of the Gam Madda Savya movement as they installed pipes to distribute water to the homes of the villagers. In more local news, the tallest batik art tapestry in Sri Lanka was unveiled in Colombo on Friday. News First, Nilakna Gunasekara reports.
Here we are next to the tallest batik art tapestry in Sri Lanka. This is 90 feet tall and has set a new recording in the realm of batik art.
The tallest batik art tapestry in Sri Lanka was unveiled in Colombo on Friday by Fusion 14, a luxury lifestyle label in Sri Lanka. This installation stands an impressive 90 feet high and is 12 feet wide, showcasing the remarkable craftsmanship. The event, centered around the theme of animal extinction and deforestation in Sri Lanka, included a breathtaking display of artistry and fashion. According to the organizers, countless hours have been dedicated to its creation. In addition to the unveiling of the batik art tapestry, a live action station was arranged where guests can try their hand at batik service design. The event offered a memorable experience, providing a glimpse into Sri Lanka's rich cultural heritage and the importance of preserving the country's natural world.
According to foreign media, two prominent heads of government, Brazil's former president Jair Bolsonaro and Cambodia's Prime Minister Hun Sen, have been censored for misusing mass media and social media respectively for their election campaigns. Brazil's Supreme Electoral Court found Bolsonaro guilty of abusing power and misusing public media during last year's presidential election, which he lost, and banned him from running for office again for the next 8 years. This may end the political career of the hardline right-wing politician who is currently 68 years old. Meanwhile, the Oversight Board of Meta recommended a 6-month ban on Facebook and Instagram accounts of Cambodia's Hun Sen for posting a video that allegedly called for violence against his political opponents ahead of an upcoming election. An avid user of social media, Hun Sen is now threatening to ban Facebook from Cambodia. He has ruled Cambodia since 1985. The Cambodian premier is seen in the video stating that his opponents, who accused him of vote selling, would have to choose between the legal system and a bat. He further stated, quote, "If you say that's freedom of expression, I will also express my freedom by sending people to your place and home," end quote. On Friday, it appeared that Hun Sen, who has 14 million followers on Facebook, had himself deleted his Facebook account after the Oversight Board's decision. In more international news, rioting has erupted in cities around France for a fourth night, despite an enormous police deployment with cars and buildings set ablaze, stores looted, and more than 1,300 people arrested as family and friends prepared to bury the 17-year-old whose killing by police unleashed the unrest.
The government suggested the violence was beginning to lessen thanks to tougher security measures, but damage remained widespread and violence also erupted in some French overseas territories, where a 54-year-old died after being hit by a stray bullet in French Guiana. The government deployed 45,000 police and several armored vehicles overnight to tackle the worst crisis of President Emmanuel Macron's leadership since the Yellow Vest protests. France's Interior Ministry said that 994 people had been arrested, compared with 800 175 the previous night, in violence which it said on a Twitter was lower in intensity. Nahel, a 17-year-old of Algerian and Moroccan descent, was shot during a traffic stop on Tuesday in the French capital's Nantes suburb. A private funeral was due to be held later on Saturday. Sources told Reuters a private funeral was due to be held later on Saturday. According to the latest report from the police regulator IGPN, in 2021 there was 37 deaths during police operations in France, 10 of whom were shot dead. That figure puts France at about 0.5 deaths per million people.
At least 48 people have been killed when a truck apparently lost control and rammed into other vehicles and pedestrians at a busy junction in western Kenya. According to local authorities, 48 have been confirmed dead and 1 or 2 people are suspected to be trapped under the truck. 30 people have been seriously injured and rushed to various hospitals. Heavy rains are hindering rescue operations. The Kenya Red Cross said the truck rammed more than 6 vehicles and ran over pedestrians. Images posted by local television stations showed several mangled vehicles. The death toll makes the accident one of the most deadliest on Kenya's roads in recent years. Last year, 34 people died in central Kenya when their bus veered off a bridge and plunged into a river valley. Finally, in your sports news, Scotland beat West Indies by 7 wickets in the Super 6 match round of the World Cup qualifier in Harare. Chasing a target of 182 runs in the match, Scotland reached their target with the loss of only 3 wickets at the end of 43 overs and 3 balls.
Scotland captain Richie Berrington, who won the toss, decided to bowl first. The first 6 wickets of the West Indies fell within the span of 81 runs. Romeo Shepherd chipped in 36 runs. Jason Holder top scored for the West Indies with 45 runs. The West Indies were bowled out for a total of 183 at 43 overs and 5 balls.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Primetime News here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Sanita Senanayaka. Take care and stay safe.